Hello there. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Derailious, and today I'll be going over a new item introduced in the Floor 6 update. Today I will be talking about the Flower of Truth and why it's stupidly powerful. And honestly, I think it's on par with the Livid Dagger, possibly a little better for dungeons. And I'll be going over everything, so the stats on the item, where it could be used, how it could be used, and what makes it particularly strong. As well as that, fellas, we just hit 400 subscribers on YouTube. I'm super happy about that. If you guys are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Only about 9 or so % of you are actually subscribed. So if you can hit that button down below, it really does mean the world to me. As well, you can follow me on Twitter, Twitch, and join my Discord down below. And without further ado, let us begin. Well, if you're thinking about buying the weapon, the next thing you're going to want to know is its stats. And this item has a lot of high ones. The base stats on this item are 120 damage when including hot potato books, 370 strength base, and 390 when including hot potato books, including my reforge as well, and a bunch of other stats that are gotten exclusively from my reforge, which I will not go over, other than 50 critical damage. Before we go any further, I want to make the note that this item also has an ability, which shoots a rose that ricochets between enemies, damaging up to 3 of your foes. The damage multiplies as more enemies are hit. Currently, however, this is broken in multiple ways. When you fire the item, it actually takes 10% of your mana, and the damage does not multiply, although it does hit 3 enemies. So the item does have its problems, and I want to bring those up first. Notably the fact that Ultimate Wise 5 does absolutely nothing to mitigate the penalty to mana you take. So you will take 10% no matter what you have on you, including things like a sheep pet, which is supposed to reduce the mana abilities. As you can see, my mana still went down by the same amount. 54 mana, because I have 539, which it rounds up to, as well as Wise Gear. So I put on Wise Gear, and it's still taking 124 mana, even though it should be taking far less. So what can I say about that? I recommend for this piece of armor, or for this weapon, rather, that you actually stack a low amount of mana, under 400 probably, outside of dungeons. When using it outside of dungeons, it can be super nice when it comes to things like the Spook event, because you can beat the people using Frozen Scythe by just yeeting this thing around a corner and it killing 3 enemies, and you can keep spamming it every second or so. Using this item is actually really fun, and it does a high amount of damage. As you can see, it does 94k for me, which makes it actually pretty viable for people with damage builds like I have. I have over 1,000 strength, as you can see here. 1,027 strength, so it is pretty strong. Not to mention anything too advanced when it comes to this item, but as well, it can be used in dungeons to some pretty great effect. In dungeons, I've been able to do 500 to 700k damage with the flower. I'll probably showcase some footage of that in a few seconds, but I've also been noticing that this flower basically one-shots everything upwards of floor 3 and possibly even floor 4. And I can imagine that it's still really solid going into floor 5 and floor 6 with good armor. I currently have adaptive gear that's not necessarily the best. As well, I don't have this item 5-starred, so I don't necessarily know what it'll be like when it is 5-starred in dungeons. But I can imagine it being pretty damn good. As well as that, if you look at the auction house and you go to the browser and then you type in flower, you can see that this item is currently on bin for 11.5 million coins. That's a little bit less than the Livid Dagger and slightly less than an Aspect of the End for the damage in between the Livid Dagger and the Aspect of the End. It's another high tier item that probably is on par with the Midas Sword, and if not on par with the Midas Sword, at the very least better than an AOTD, for a price only double an AOTD in its prime. Alright, so now we are in a dungeon currently. I am currently the only man playing Berserker, thank God, and we have the Flower of Truth here, which has 850 strength. And with everything together, I have over 1600 strength. I'm pretty sure that it'll go up to about 2000 in the next few minutes. So let's try this out. 311k. So this is on a floor 3. Obviously, the damage will be higher as you keep going. It also does pretty decent damage to the guys, the Lost Adventurers on this floor as well. Hello. Oh, can I? Okay. 638k, that just did. That's quite a bit of damage, actually. So another thing I'm noticing, too, is that obviously the 10% mana thing is still there. And it seems to be one-shotting literally everything in this dungeon. I know this is only a floor 3, but I feel like at any level, like, this could be really strong. As well, it's doing about 38k per hit to the Shadow Assassin over here. And you can just spam him down. Just keep attacking him. Obviously, I'm not the best berserker in the world, but I will certainly try. And there we go. We just killed him. I like the fact that for this weapon in particular, you're able to stay a little ways away from the actual fight. You can kind of go into rooms as a little bit careful, and it still ends up being very beneficial to you. So you can stay a little careful, and you can kind of change up your playstyle. I'm kind of playing a mix of what I would normally do as mage and what I would do as healer. And now I also have the Reaper sight, so now I can pick up the guys that I can summon, just have them go crazy. Point of this is, like, you can definitely use this as a really nice utility item to one-shot most mobs. There's another Shadow Assassin. Just jumped over his head. Meanwhile, I have my Obsidian Defender take him out as well. I'm doing 50k per hit. As a mage, this weapon might also be viable, just simply because of mage abilities being arguably, like, really strong. So now we're up to 465 mana, and obviously now the weapon takes 47 mana instead of 41 per, which is pretty interesting. Start firing up there. Now I'm doing 700k per hit, 679k. Obviously, the damage is going up a lot during the dungeon because of the Blessings of Stone. I don't know about how many weapons other than this one and the Livid Dagger probably that can do about 700k per hit. In fact, let's test the Livid Dagger if I can find an enemy that I can hit. Let me come up here. So, Livid Dagger, 482k, 514, 331, 750k. Yeah, this does a little bit more. So that's actually really nice. For a weapon that's worth about the same and has a lot more utility, this is really a solid option. Yeah, this is really nice. Run through here and grab the chest. Alright, now we're finally at the boss section, so we can actually go test out how this thing does against the Guardians here. Obviously, I know this is a lower floor, but I don't really want to test this item on brand new content before we know, like, actual strategies on how to beat it. I'll probably come back to this and make a new video soon. And oh baby, it does about 70k damage per hit. That's insane. Combo that out, yeah, it's pretty nuts. Let me try using the Livid Dagger for comparison. Looks to be about as quick as a kill as the Livid Dagger is, although I'm not really clicking as fast as I possibly could. So we're doing about 70 to 80k whenever we hit them, which is pretty nice. Not bad. And there we go, the boss is dead. So overall, I'd say this weapon is a really solid choice for anyone who wants to pick it for dungeons as well. Not only is it a really good offensive option for things like the Spooky event, and I honestly think it's worth it for the Spooky event just because of that alone. It could be really useful on things like just normal endgame content in the world, like the overworld, for like grinding out slayers and stuff like that. But it's also really good in dungeons, and it has a lot of utility. So on that note, I think I'm going to end off that video here. I hope you all are having an awesome day, fellas. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave a like. I really do appreciate it. Subscribe down below and follow me on Twitch and Twitter. And on that note, see you guys in the next one. Peace out.